It's spring, and that means pruning season for the vineyards of Bhamdoun village, in the mountains about an hour east of Beirut. It's also the home of Chateau BelleVue, the award-winning winery that debuted 3 years ago. Naji and Jill Boutros opened Chateau BelleVue in part to rebuild this Christian village that was nearly destroyed by the Lebanese Civil War. Jill describes coming back to Bhamdoun, a village of about 1,000 people.
The trees had been cut, the buildings were empty and destroyed, the people had left, the valley was untended and, had been left for dead. We had 3 pieces of land. We had a lot of goodwill, and we had a love of wine.
Jill and Naji spent years living in New York and London, where Naji worked as an investment banker. Naji says that the rocky, mineral-rich soil of his family's village was always in the back of his mind.
We think this is God's gift to humanity, this land for winemaking, okay, for vineyards. It's not where she comes from, which is Minnesota corn land. This is
that with affection.
I mean it with affection.
Yeah.
This is vine, perfect for vines and figs and olive trees.
The chateau uses no chemicals or fertilizer. On the winery's 60 acres of land, pruning and picking are done by hand, as in centuries past. The annual yield so far is just 15,000 bottles. The reds count Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and Merlot grapes. At an altitude of about 3,000 feet above sea level, the thick skins of the grapes protect the fruit from the sun. They also elicit the wine's deep color. Restoring this village, say Jill and Naji, was also about restoring the past. All that was left of the famous Hotel BelleVue, run by Naji's grandfather, was this single tile amidst a pile of rubble. Bhamdoun's history goes back much further. It was a Roman wine-producing hamlet located along the road to Damascus.
We're not reinventing the wheel. We're doing something which has been part of this culture for millennia.
It's a balanced wine. This is typically what we are saying.
Americans may not have heard about Lebanese wine, but here and in France, it's a big deal. On this Saturday afternoon, a small group gathers to learn about wine tasting. Lebanon produces rich red wines, crisp whites, and smooth, fruity rosés. It seems you can't go wrong with Lebanese wine. It's often priced right, too. A very good bottle can be had for $10 or less. While Chateau BelleVue is an up-and-coming enterprise, East Lebanon Chateau Ksara is part of the grand winemaking establishment. Founded in 1857, Ksara today produces 2 million bottles every year. The Jesuit monks who founded Chateau Ksara in the 19th century originally made wine for use in the church, but their techniques eventually became the basis for Lebanon's modern wine industry. Ksara isn't an Arabic word, but likely a mutation of Caesar, whose armies occupied this land. These subterranean tunnels date back to the Roman era. It's not clear what the small niches were used for, or why nearly 2 miles of winding paths were carved under the earth, but the humidity and stable temperature underground are perfect for one thing, aging wine. Ksara's earliest bottled vintage has rested peacefully here since 1918. Though it's probably not worth tasting these days.
Traditionnel parce qu'on voit on dirait que c'est très vieux jeu le système que vous avez. Est-ce que c'est plutôt moderne?
Ah non, c'est pas vieux jeu du tout, c'est tous les élevages traditionnels.
James Flege is a French oenologist who oversees the vineyards and has blended Ksara's wines for the past 15 years.
Ici, on est sur 4 terroirs.
We have 4 terroirs or microclimates, and there are different varieties of grapes planted on each terroir. Ksara takes the highest quality grapes from each terroir to make their best vintages. This is why we have regularity year after year.
Even large wineries like Chateau Ksara don't produce enough to make a mark in the American market. Charles Gostin is the director of Ksara, and he hopes to change that.
In 3 or 4 years, our production will increase by 500,000 bottles. And of course, the exposure that we are looking for is mainly and especially United States, and why not?
When the Lebanese raise their glasses, they say, Sahtain, wishing you health not 1, but 2 times. For WorldFocus, I'm Kristen Gillespie, reporting from East Lebanon.